You know, there's something beautiful about waking up in your 70s or 80s and realizing you're still here. The world might have changed 100 times over, faces come and go, and some mornings take a little longer to get moving, but you're still standing. And that alone says something powerful about you, because age, real age, isn't just a number. It's a story of endurance, of wisdom, of living through seasons others only read about in history books. But here's something that not everyone will tell you. If you're in your 70s or 80s and still able to do certain things that seem simple on the outside but take real strength on the inside, then you, my friend, are not just growing older. You're thriving. You're a rare kind of gem in this world. And I don't mean that lightly. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how people start talking about age like it's a limit? As if crossing 70 suddenly means your life becomes small, quiet, or less meaningful. That you're supposed to sit back, slow down, and simply watch the world pass by? But here's the truth. There are people out there just like you, proving them wrong every single day, not by shouting it from rooftops, but by doing, by waking up with intention, moving with purpose, and refusing to let their age define their ability to live. Now imagine this. You're 78. It's a sunny morning. You grab your keys, walk confidently to your car, and drive yourself to the grocery store. Not because you have to, but because you can. You pick your own apples, choose your own bread, and smile at a few familiar faces. That right there, driving, shopping independently, choosing your own food, is a victory that speaks louder than words. It says, I've still got it. And if you're still doing that at this age, you're doing better than most. But it doesn't stop there. There are people in their 80s who still start their day with movement. Not gym workouts or marathons, just simple, intentional exercises. A stretch by the window, a few leg raises while brushing their teeth, maybe a gentle walk around the garden. These are not just habits. They are declarations. Declarations that say, my body may be older, but I still care for it. I still believe in what it can do. You see, strength in older age isn't about lifting weights or running 5 miles. It's about lifting yourself up every morning, even when your knees ache a little or your back needs a moment. It's about putting in that little extra effort, because you know that movement, any movement, is what keeps the rust away. And let's talk about mindset. Because the truth is, physical ability will always matter, but a joyful, grateful mind, that's your true engine. If you can still wake up and feel thankful for the sunrise, if you still find joy in the taste of tea, the sound of birds, or the simple beauty of watching the clouds roll by, you are carrying something rare. Gratitude at this stage in life isn't just an attitude, it's a superpower. Some people in their 70s and 80s walk into each day with a quiet smile, not because everything is perfect, but because they've learned to cherish what is. They know how to laugh at the small things. They tell stories with sparkle in their eyes. They know pain, but they also know peace. And if that sounds like you, don't underestimate the strength in that. There's also something so deeply admirable about those who stay mentally active. I've met folks in their 80s who still love reading. Some enjoy crossword puzzles. Others find joy in learning a new recipe, listening to podcasts, or even trying out new technology. Slowly, patiently, but with curiosity. If your brain still hungers to learn, to grow, or to simply stay engaged with the world around you, that's not just luck. That's years of tending to your mind like a garden, and your harvest is showing. But perhaps one of the most beautiful things I've seen in people your age is the desire to care, to still give, to still offer love, advice, or help in any way possible, whether it's cooking for your spouse, checking in on a neighbor, or simply listening to someone's story. If your heart is still open, still willing to serve and care, that is living in its highest form. So here's what I want you to understand. If you are in your 70s or 80s and you're still doing even just a few of these things, driving yourself, taking small walks, stretching in the morning, thinking clearly, smiling at strangers, counting your blessings, and offering kindness to others, then you're not just doing okay. You're extraordinary. You're a gem. A living example of what it means to not just survive old age, but to live it well. There are younger people who feel defeated, disconnected, or drained. And here you are, still showing up, still doing the small things that make life big. And you might think, oh, I'm not doing anything special. But trust me, if someone your age can still move, think, laugh, and love, that is special. That is rare. That is something we should celebrate, not overlook. This video isn't just about reminding you of what you're capable of. It's about honoring that quiet strength that often goes unnoticed. It's about reminding you that you matter, that your presence is powerful, and that the habits you've held onto are not just keeping you alive, they're helping you shine. Because let's be real, some days are harder than others. There are mornings when it feels like gravity is stronger, or your body isn't listening the way it used to, and yet you still show up. That spirit, that resilience, that's something no age can take away from you. And if you're watching this and thinking, well, I can't do all of those things anymore, let me say this gently but firmly. Even being here, listening, wanting to grow, to improve, to stay informed, that matters. That counts. Your effort is still your victory. Now, as we continue, we'll explore a few more of these priceless habits, things that may seem ordinary on the surface but are, in truth, extraordinary signs of vitality, wisdom, and inner strength. But for now, just take a breath and recognize. If you're still doing any of these things, you are not behind. You are ahead. You are one of the gems this world is lucky to have. You know, we often hear about slowing down in our later years, as if the clock tells us when to stop living fully. But what the clock doesn't show is your spirit, your kindness, your quiet strength. And if you're someone who still finds energy to engage with the world, then you're proving that aging doesn't mean fading, it means evolving. Let's talk about something many people don't consider a big deal, but I know it is: grocery shopping. Not through an app, not by sending someone else, but walking into the store, choosing your own vegetables, comparing labels, maybe even striking up a short conversation at checkout. You're not just buying food. You're exercising your independence. You're reminding yourself and the world that you're still in control of your daily life. That kind of autonomy isn't just physical, it's emotional too. Because the ability to make your own decisions, to pick up what you want and leave what you don't, gives you a sense of dignity. It keeps your confidence alive, and that confidence, it shows up in other parts of your life too. Now think about this. How many people your age are still moving every day? Not racing, not pushing through pain, but moving intentionally. Whether it's a morning stretch, a walk after lunch, or even dancing a little while cleaning the house, if you're still moving, you're still growing. Because motion is life. And when you move your body, your blood flows, your heart works, your mind clears. I've seen 80-year-olds with stronger posture than people half their age, not because they go to the gym, but because they haven't stopped using their bodies. They trust their legs, they bend to tie their shoes, they reach up into cupboards, and that kind of mobility, it doesn't just come from luck, it comes from consistency. It comes from years of deciding that every step still matters. There's also something special about finding joy in the small things. I've sat with people who've seen the Great Depression, wars, technology revolutions, and personal heartbreaks. And yet, you hand them a cup of tea on a rainy day, and they light up. You show them a blooming flower in spring, and they pause to breathe it in. If you still find joy in the little things, the color of the sky, the softness of a blanket, the sound of your favorite song, then you're carrying a kind of richness most people spend their whole lives chasing. Because that's what wisdom does. It teaches you not to chase more, but to feel more, to slow down and savor. And if you're still able to laugh, still able to feel gratitude even when life is far from perfect, then you are walking proof that the soul only gets deeper with age. And then there's the matter of connection. We often underestimate how powerful it is just to talk to someone. A call to a friend, a conversation with a neighbor, even saying hello to the mail carrier. If you're still making time for connection, still valuing conversation, still sharing parts of yourself, you are holding on to something that science and spirituality both agree on. Relationships keep us alive longer. Not just breathing, but alive, vibrant, engaged, meaningful. Loneliness is silent, but its damage is loud. And if you've built a routine, even a simple one, that includes interaction, no matter how small, you are actively protecting your mind and your heart. Some of the most inspiring people I've met in their 70s or 80s don't live surrounded by people, but they make the effort to call, to visit, to smile, to listen. That willingness to connect, to still be part of the human experience, is a priceless trait. If that's still inside you, you're not aging, you're blossoming. And speaking of connection, let's not forget perhaps the most underrated gift of all, caring for others. Maybe you care for your spouse. Maybe it's a grandchild, a neighbor, or even a pet. Maybe you send birthday cards or cook meals, or just sit quietly with someone who needs a bit of peace. If you still have the energy to care, to serve, to love, that is not weakness. That is power. That's the kind of energy the world needs more of. You see, being a gem at your age doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean you never feel tired or sad or frustrated. It means you keep showing up. You keep giving what you can, from where you are, with what you have. And in doing so, you become a light for others. A reminder that life still has depth, still has value, even after 70, after 80, after loss, after change. It's easy to focus on what you've lost with age, but take a second, right now, and think about what you've gained. Perspective, patience, clarity, maybe a slower pace, but a deeper appreciation. Maybe fewer people around, but richer conversations with the ones who matter. Maybe a body that creaks a little more, but a heart that's never been fuller. You are a walking example of what endurance looks like, what grace looks like, and what quiet power feels like. If the world truly saw you for all that you are, what you've overcome, what you still do, how deeply you love, they would stand and applaud. But you don't need applause. You never did. You're not doing this for attention. You're doing it because it's who you are. You've learned that life isn't about grand gestures. It's about the small, consistent things. The morning walks, the meaningful conversations, the laughter in your kitchen, the thank yous whispered under your breath. That's the real richness. That's the kind of wealth that no economy can touch. And if you're still here, doing even a fraction of that, you're not just aging. You're leaving a legacy, one moment at a time. Sometimes, in the quiet moments, when the house is still and the world feels like it's moving on without you, it's easy to wonder if you're still seen, still heard, still needed. But let me assure you of something. You are. Not because of what you used to do, but because of what you're still doing right now. If you're waking up each morning and choosing to participate in life, in your own way, with your own rhythm, that's a gift not just to yourself, but to everyone around you, especially the younger ones watching silently from the sidelines. Because whether you know it or not, you're showing them how to grow old with grace, with resilience, with soul. Let's take a moment to talk about your mindset, your emotional health. If at your age you still make space for hope, if you still take time to laugh, to forgive, to let go of things that no longer serve you, then you're doing something truly rare. Many people live their entire lives weighed down by the past, but you've learned, perhaps the hard way, that peace isn't about fixing everything. It's about accepting what you can't change and still choosing joy anyway. That choice, To be calm when you could be bitter. To be kind when no one's watching. To let go when others cling is a quiet kind of strength that the world desperately needs more of. You may not talk about it often, but it's in the way you carry yourself. It's in the way you comfort someone with just a glance. It's in the way your presence brings calm instead of noise. And then there's something else that speaks volumes about who you are, the way you adapt. You may not use a smartphone like the grandkids, and maybe computers still confuse you from time to time. But if you're still learning, if you've ever asked someone to show you how to use a new device, or if you've watched a YouTube video like this one to stay informed, that shows more than curiosity. That shows humility, a willingness to learn, to grow, to evolve even now. Because here's the thing, real strength isn't about refusing to change. It's about being open, teachable, flexible. If you've taken steps, no matter how small, to adjust to a changing world while staying true to who you are, then you've mastered something most people never will. And finally, if you still dream, if you still imagine something beautiful for tomorrow, whether it's a trip, a garden, a quiet day with family, or simply a moment of laughter, then you are richer than you know. Dreaming doesn't belong to the young. It belongs to the brave. To dream in your 70s or 80s is an act of courage. It's saying, there is still more for me. And there is. Because you don't stop having purpose just because you've passed a certain number of birthdays. You don't stop being important, being valuable, being worthy of love, just because your hair is grayed or your joints ache more than they used to. You are still here, still breathing, still writing your story. So let's remind ourselves one more time. If you can still drive with focus, if you can walk, even if it's slow, and feel proud of every step, if you can make your own choices at the grocery store, or lift your arms to stretch in the morning, if your mind still lights up with new ideas, if you still feel grateful for the simple things, if you still talk, connect, love, if you still care for others with whatever strength you have left, then you are more than a gem. You are a living testament to what it means to live fully. You are the kind of person this world quietly depends on, the kind of person who doesn't need a spotlight to shine. Your light comes from within. It's in your wisdom, in your resilience, in your ability to keep going, even on days when life feels heavier than usual. And I want you to know, truly know, that there are people who see you, who learn from you, who look up to you, even if they don't always say it. You are not invisible. You are not irrelevant. You are not done. You are here, and as long as you're here, your presence matters. So don't let anyone, not even that little voice in your head, tell you that your best years are behind you. Because in many ways, the richest years are the ones when you finally slow down enough to notice the beauty around you, to savor the ordinary, to feel the fullness of each breath. And if you've made it this far in life and still have the heart to listen, to reflect, to grow, then yes, you are a real gem. Not everyone your age is still doing what you're doing. Not everyone can, but you can, and you are. So take pride in that, because the world needs more like you. People who keep choosing life, who keep choosing light. Now, if any of this resonated with you, I want you to take a moment and share your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know. What keeps you going? What are you still doing in your 70s or 80s that you're proud of? And if you found value in this video, consider giving it a like. It helps this message reach more beautiful souls like yours. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories, encouragement, and helpful insights designed especially for your journey. Because we believe in aging with strength, with grace, and with a legacy that doesn't fade, but grows. You are not the end of your story. You are the wisdom in its pages, the soul between its lines, and the proof that age is not decline, it's depth. Here's to you, our quiet gems, our wise warriors. Keep shining. Keep showing us how it's done. Because the world may not always say it, but it is better because you are still in it.